Boom. We are live. Welcome to another episode of Metalheads Unite. And as you all may have noticed, we have another guest on the show this week. So
Yes.
2 times in a row there. So we want to
Yeah. We
welcome.
get we yep, we got a streak going on.
Yeah. So we want to welcome Valtteri and Valu. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If not, I apologize. But
Close enough, close enough.
yeah, close enough.
Yeah, join
I'm called cornbread for a reason. So
yes, joining
that,
us.
that is a language here, believe it or not. So
Yeah. Joining us all the way from Tampere, Finland.
yeah.
A couple of members of the band, as you can see from Valtteri's shirt there, and from their nameplate there. Joining us all the way from Scandinavia, we have Beryl in the studio with us today. Well, tonight in the United States, Saturday morning, all the way over there in Scandinavia. So we appreciate that. And yeah, you see, Velu's already got his. He's already working on. Oh, they both got coffee. There we go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but it could be like the one guess is just coffee. That's the question. So
that's true. That is true. So, gentlemen, welcome to the show. Real quick before we get started, Valtteri, I want to ask you a question real quick. This has nothing to do with music, but how common is the Heiskanen last name over there?
Pretty common, I would say.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was just curious because I didn't know if little bit of background on me. I'm from Michigan, so I'm a huge hockey fan, and I know that there's a player on the Dallas Stars. His name is Miro Heiskanen, so I didn't know if there's any relation or not.
Right.
So I don't know. I didn't know how common Heiskanen was over there, so I just figured I'd ask you real quick. But
yeah, it's actually very very common surname. So
okay,
so
all right,
yeah.
all right. Well, cool. Very cool.
He's not related to me, but he's an awesome hockey player.
He is a very good hockey player. Absolutely, yes, he is. He's not on the team I root for, but he is a very good hockey player. So
You play in Nashville, don't you?
actually, I'm from Michigan, so I pull for the Red Wings. So and Valtteri Filppula actually played for them when we won our last Stanley Cup. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
So that's why you won.
it definitely helped.
I'm the team, so yeah,
That's gotta be.
yeah.
All right, so before so we get back on track here. You guys reached out to us. Let's see about what was it, Jason? About maybe a month or so ago.
about 6 weeks or so, I think.
Yeah, month and a half ago. You guys sent us the new EP, unanticipated confessions of love, and we appreciate you guys sending that to us. We obviously, since you guys are here, we checked that out, reached out, and here we are. So, I want to ask.
And then we also checked out Bullet with your name as well. So
Well, of course we did. Yeah, we listened. We listened to them both. Obviously, unanticipated confessions of love was the introduction to the group, and have definitely since listened to Bullet with Your Name, which is kind of an album and
Ironic.
a song title near and dear to Jason's heart. I'll let I'll let him tell you about that. So. So first question, well, I mean, not really a question, but you guys have been together as Beryl since 2021, so a couple of years now. But three of you guys actually have been together in a different group. So Velu, Yane, and let's see, and Valtteri, you guys were together in Distocracy. Now, is that a group that's still together, or is that something that kind of evolved into Beryl?
It kind of is. We're sort of on a hiatus. Our
Yeah.
guitar player moved out of Tampere to another city and had some difficulties to travel because of COVID and other stuff, and that's why we're sort of on a hiatus. We haven't yet disbanded per se, but we're not actually that active. We're writing songs, but there's no rush with that. But,
yeah,
and Battle was born out of the boredom of COVID and
Okay, all right.
play. So the other
Yeah.
guys set it up, and I joined as a sort of a bassist for a while because I wasn't looking for a band back then. But things evolved, and here we are.
Yeah, pretty much like that.
All right.
I
Okay,
wanted
so
some kind of traditional heavy metal in I don't know what did you guys want to do? Play Dio and
Dio Maiden, Judas Priest, Halloween, that kind of stuff.
yeah,
But yeah,
I wasn't
I
so
could, I
into
could, yeah, I
stuff,
can
but
definitely hear some of that influence in the music. So
yeah. Well, I mean, listening. I mean, a couple of the influence like I kind of like gleaned for myself. It kind of sounded like a little bit of maybe like some Grim Reaper and a little bit of maybe Merciful Fate and King Diamond in there. So especially with some of the vocals, especially some of the high end stuff. Which I mean, it just woo boy that vocal goes right to the top, Valtteri. Man, you're not messing around. So I mean, it definitely. I mean, no one's going to be able to argue that you don't have any range for sure, because they definitely wouldn't know what they were talking about. But all of those all those traditional heavy metal styles are definitely prevalent in there. No one's going to be able to argue that fact at all. So, all right.
and then I was gonna try to touch on that logo a little bit. It looks like it's, I don't know. To me, it's like simple, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's like really unique to me though. It almost reminds me, kind of looking down a 38 special or something, like popping it open and throwing the bullets in or something like that. But it's so where did that originate from?
it was
Yeah.
drawn by what's the guy's name?
Jan Yrlund, Örkki.
Erkki, who plays for a couple of bands, and he's
Yeah.
actually the bass technician for Manowar, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
All right. Okay.
He's a Finnish guy, a friend of ours, and then
Yeah.
he also does graphical design. So we sort of gave him free reign to draw us a logo, and it took a while, and then he came back with this idea, and the explanation went, 2 barrels are for pussy, so I added a third.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what?
Barrel
That's
shotgun.
great.
I I actually would expect nothing less out of anybody associated with Man of War. I would expect
Right.
nothing less.
We have to say, of course, that Örkki plays in a Finnish very long-term thrash metal band Prestige. They are awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
They've
yeah.
been playing since the early 90s.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't Jason? It's funny that you bring up Prestige because man, I can't remember if it was. I can't remember if it was Archfire or if it was Anzalu who we talked to. Because Anzalu, is another Finnish band that we've interviewed.
Yeah.
One of those other guys
Actually,
that
yeah.
dropped Prestige's name. So it's kind of funny that you bring that up because that's not the first time that they've been mentioned on the show by one of our previous guests. So
Because they're from Tampere and also friends of ours.
yeah,
So probably them.
Yeah,
yeah.
they have performed with Prestige once, I think. I think we saw that show actually.
Yeah, could be.
All right, okay.
So yeah, that's the story of the logo.
Yeah.
3 barrels.
Yeah, and I must add that there's the circle around the barrels, so it actually probably represents the the actual barrel of whiskey, barrel of wine, or
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was actually going to get to that. I was going to wonder where what the genesis of the actual band name was. So you basically took care of that. Yes. All right. So so let's see. You guys are a quintet, and like I say, Velu and Yane and Valtteri. You guys are you say you're on a hiatus from more or less on a hiatus from Distocracy right now. So how did Yane and Eunice come into the band?
Yeah, well, I can start by sharing the origin story of Barrel. So
Perfect.
So like Velu mentioned, yeah, there was COVID and there was like quite silent mode with Distocracy. So I had also another band in which I was before COVID called Celestial Alliance, and we kind of like disbanded at that point. So I felt at that point that I need to start a new band or get into some existing band. And I was browsing through this Finnish musicians page where you kind of like can search bands and search musicians. And I noticed announcement by Janne, the other guitar player.
Okay.
I read it through and instantly noticed that okay, there might be a chance of collaboration with this guy, and I sent him a message, and we both kind of like agreed that there's a good there's a possibility for collaboration, and we met face to face and talked about something that we want to do in terms of music, and we ended up kind of like forming Barrel, and I instantly also asked Distocracy drummer Janne or Honkku that would he be interested in playing with us, and he instantly agreed. So and Vello and Jonas then came later on with the band, and well, that's how it got started.
Okay, so when so did the first EP kind of like as soon as Barrel got formed, when did the first EP kind of start to take shape?
Well, it started to take shape actually already in the first rehearsals that we had.
Okay, so
As a
right
trio,
away then. Okay.
there was myself, Honkku, and Janne playing, and Janne had this basically introduction riff already for the "Bullet with Your Name" song, and we kind of like started jamming around with it, and we had some kind of version of that song already, I believe, in the first or second rehearsals. So
Okay.
it started forming from there, and later on when Vellu came aboard, we started working on the longest song of the first EP, "Dying Star," and it came out pretty fast.
Yeah, the
Now,
other version, Dying Star, kind of were there already, went there.
Yeah,
We just did the sort of the, if you want to call it a finale, the slower part of the song.
yeah,
right.
Later on, that became, well, it kind of started as a bass part, but then evolved into a finale, so to speak.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
okay. I was actually going to ask about Dying Star, especially with it being I guess it was almost 9.5 minutes long. I think when it was all said and done. Was
It sort of
the
got out of hand.
what's that? I'm sorry.
It sort of got out of hand in the studio.
Okay. I was gonna ask if like the intention was for it to be that long, or if it just kind of morphed into something, and 9.5 minutes later you're like, you know what? Let's just go with it, because it was almost like it was two different songs, but even though it starts off fast and it slows down, you guys pull the tempo back on it, it still doesn't lack coherence. So even though it does have kind of two different hemispheres to it, and it is a longer song, it does still flow really well. So I was kind of curious as to whether or not that was actually how the song started, or how that was just how it ended up when it was all said and done. So
Most certainly didn't start that way. It started as the first part of the song and then later
Yeah,
morphed into
yeah,
the longer version. But there seems to be a story to it
yeah,
as a song because it's a story about floating in space and
mm-hmm.
Mm.
a trip where there's no return and it sort of ends on that note of drifting into space. That's kind of how it evolved.
Well, I mean, that makes total sense, because I mean, if you get stuck out there, you're not you're
You're
not
right.
I mean, you're not coming back. So it actually kind of makes sense that would be the natural conclusion to the song. It makes total sense. So
yeah.
And so,
and
so,
that
so, so it wound up like a Bob Ross happy little accident, I guess. So.
yeah, kind of.
Especially the saxophone solo happened that way because we have already basically had the song finished
Yeah.
in the studio and I noticed that there was a saxophone in the corner and it did just immediately hit me that this song needs a saxophone solo and luckily the guy with the studio played saxophone, so we just had him play the solo right then and there and that was it.
I was wondering about that too, because I kind of like it when, and you don't, especially with the saxophone, you don't hear it that often. But there's one of our guests from maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago. a band out of Scotland. They go by the name Devil, but they spell it DVL, so they left out the E and the I. They actually had a song with a saxophone in it in the background. So and funny thing is the album that I reviewed last week from Cobra Spell, they have a song that actually had a little bit of saxophone in it. So I don't know if it's just kind of like coincidence, last week and then this week. Of course, I think your guys' album came out way before Cobra Spells, but it just kind of coincidence of when I heard it. So I like when an instrument that is a little unconventional is thrown in like that. And what I like about what you did with it is where you put it in and how little you used it, but it still added the emphasis that it needed. So it was like the perfect placement, the perfect balance. So it was really, really well done. And plus, especially when you're listening to heavy metal and someone throws a saxophone at you, you're like, what the hell is that, a saxophone? So I mean, it catches your ear. Like on the first listen, it catches your ear, and then like you say, during the week, I listened to all 6 songs all the way through, like multiple times. So like I say, you hear it the first time and it catches your ear, like, is that a saxophone? And then you go back and you listen to it, and then you listen to the song in its entirety for the complexity. But then it comes to that point in the song, you're like, God be damn, that is a saxophone. And I like the way you start to appreciate like I say, the placement of it, the duration of it. So the composition was put together really well, and I like that you said that it was just one of those things like, let's play that. You saw it over there in the corners, like, let's throw that in there somewhere. Does anybody know how to play it? And like, somebody know how to play it. And you just like, throw it in there, see what happens. I also like to hear when it's like, this wasn't the plan. We decided to like throw it at the wall and see if it stuck, and it stuck and it sounded good. So we went with it. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you don't always have to really overthink it. So it's just, and it just, it came out gold. So, I mean, how are you going to argue with that?
Nothing's been overthought in any of those songs, because basically
exactly.
the songwriting process is free form.
Yeah.
We don't actually plan anything or write anything down or do any or that kind of stuff. Janne comes up with the riffs for the guitar most of the time. Jonas does some of that stuff as well. But they just come to the rehearsal place where we play, and then we just start jamming, and it forms out of, I don't know where. It's a mystery to us as well.
Yeah.
There's no planning to it, and most of the songs on both EPs have been finalized in the studio. So we go there with the songs are basically ready, but all of them formed into something else in the studio as well.
Yeah.
So they've been recorded. Both of them were recorded over a weekend. So it's a pretty intense weekend. We just played and then went to a cottage and had a sauna and drank some beer and did the same thing again on the next day.
Yeah.
So we saw nothing but the studio and the sauna over the weekend.
And each other, of course.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh well.
Still, it doesn't sound like definitely doesn't sound like a bad weekend. I mean, you could definitely do a lot worse than, sauna and studio. You could do a lot worse.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling coming back Sunday evening after that session, standing on the porch at home and going like, I basically know what I'm supposed to do here, but I'm not sure. I'm kind of lost here. It's just a weekend. I don't know how the sort of the bigger bands do it over a year on the road. I can't imagine. How do you come back from that?
Yeah, I have no idea. I really don't know, because even like when I just take a week off from work and I get to the end of the week and I'm like, now what? So I mean, and I just have a regular job. So yeah, that's actually a good question. I mean, getting on and off of buses and airplanes and in and out of hotels and in and out of venues and just sleeping when you can, and just like I have no idea. So I mean, you got nothing but respect for anyone who gets to do that. They don't have to do it; they get to do it. So it's kind of a little bit of a distinction there. So having said that, I mean, have you guys had a chance to? I mean, are you guys just playing in and around Finland? I mean, how often are you guys able to get out?
Well, we do play around Finland. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had how many gigs this year?
I believe the exact number is 11 at the moment.
Okay, so
Yeah,
basically once a month,
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
pretty much.
Yeah.
We've got a short, really short tour planned in Estonia, and it was
Okay.
supposed to happen at the end of this year, but it got postponed to somewhere early next year.
Yeah.
But that's our international experience to come as of now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because come to find out from, I think it was Anzalu that told us this too, is that the in Finland, the schedule that's available for bands to play over there, it's like very, very short. There's like only a short period of time that you guys are allowed to play during the week.
Mm.
It's because like over here concerts are every night. Like a tour comes through, and I mean, if they come through Nashville, sometimes a show will be on a Wednesday, sometimes it'll be on a Friday, sometimes it'll be on a month. So I mean, there's really no rhyme or reason or set times where shows happen over here. But our friends in Anzalu were telling us that basically unless it's a big tour, that you guys are really only, venues are really only available on the weekends. Is that something you guys experience too?
Well, yes and no, they are available whenever, but you have to take in mind that we're a small nation of 5.5 million people,
Mhm.
and Tampere
Okay.
is a town of 250,000, and we are I believe, the third largest city in Finland. So the
That's
scene
right.
isn't that
Yeah.
big. So if you set up a show for, let's say, a Tuesday evening, probably nobody's going to come because it's only 7 people who are going to be interested in
Oh
a
yeah,
Tuesday.
that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the weekends, sometimes Wednesdays and Thursdays, but basically that's
Okay.
pretty much it.
Okay. I
Yeah.
think
That's
that.
that's a question of size, not being allowed to.
All right. Well, that might be that kind of makes sense because you guys are in a bigger city up there in Tampere. I know that Helsinki and Espoo are the two cities that are, I think, bigger
Yeah.
than
Yes.
Tampere. So it kind of
Mhm.
makes sense when you're in a little bit more of a metropolitan area. I can't exactly remember. Let me look real quick because I can't exactly remember where Anzalu is from. But they were telling us that they a lot of the times they found that the availability.
Anzalu is in Helsinki. So
They are from Helsinki. Okay, yeah. So that's strange. They're from a bigger city. I don't know why their experiences would be different. I'm not
A
sure,
friend
but
of mine works in a bar in Helsinki that arranges gigs as well, and for some weird reason, I don't know why, but he told me that well, because he works in Tampere sometimes as well, and he told me that the people in Helsinki don't move as much to gigs as they do in Tampere. So the scene is
okay.
sort of bigger in here than it is in Helsinki. I don't know
Okay.
why. He thought that it might be because Helsinki is more of a rap city or whatever, or more into mainstream pop music. I don't know.
Yeah. But it
And
was
then,
kind of like a nice surprise that we were actually in October. We visited Helsinki
yeah,
in a bar called Lepakkomies, Batman in English.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right.
uh, we had a local band called Ultima with us and Black Royal, who are also from Tampere. And it was actually a nice surprise that there were quite many people
yeah.
in the gig. So, but it was weekend again. So
Okay. All right.
sorry,
Yeah. Just
I've been writing down band names
I
once I've
yeah,
been
I
trying.
know. So yeah, every yeah, whenever
Uh,
whenever band names get dropped, we try to make sure that we're writing those down. Did they lock up on us for a second?
yeah, they may have.
Yeah, it looks like looks like Valtteri kind of got cut off mid sentence there. So
Yeah, see if they're
uh,
able to get me. I'll take a
Velu,
second to. I'm just going to take a second to welcome Dana and Aunt Amy into the chat
that's
there.
right.
So
Yes,
I
they are.
don't want to leave nobody out. So
No, we don't. Guys, if you can still hear us, if you want to go back out of the studio and come back in, you can do that. So if you guys need to come out and come back in, you can do that. So, um, not exactly
yeah,
sure.
they froze on the YouTube feed too. So
Okay, well, okay, yeah, they may go out and come back in.
yeah,
So,
that's fine. It's sometimes we apologize, but that's that's how technology works sometimes, especially when you're talking to someone that
8 hours
far away.
away. Yeah. So yeah. So that's to be expected sometimes every now and then. So
It's just,
um
I wasn't you because you kind of do a max headroom every once in a while, but you're not flinching on YouTube. So I don't know. It must just be StreamYard things.
yeah, might be. Because I actually gave them a second before I said something about it because it looked like because I thought maybe he would do the same thing like the video maybe might freeze for a minute but the audio would be okay, but so I noticed it but didn't say anything right away because I thought
Yeah.
I thought the feed might catch up, but we'll see if they're able to come back in.
Yeah, Amy
Yeah,
said they froze on Facebook. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they just got a bad connection. It's like they had some uh, speaker problems too when they first got on. So
Yeah. So that I mean we I mean I mean hell I could Google it. I don't know how the hell far away they are from us, but like I say, it's like 6:30,
mhm,
in the morning over there in Finland,
right,
and so I mean that kind of stuff's going to happen. I mean hell even when, back when we talked to Hidden Intent, they were down there in Australia, and even every once in a while the video would get a little choppy too. But they were 15 hours ahead of us. I mean, so
right,
the fact that we were able to talk to somebody that far away, because I mean, you and I are both just hanging out at the house in our offices
yeah,
and everything, and we're able to connect with somebody all the way over in Finland or Sweden or
yeah,
Germany.
yeah. Give a quick shout
All
out to quick shout out to our friend Kobe from Halo Scars in the chat. Hey man,
hey,
appreciate you stopping in. Hey, they're back. Looks like so. Hey, there they are.
hey, there it is.
Yeah.
Got some slight internet issues here.
Oh,
Well, that's anytime we're doing stuff this far away, it's surprising that we don't have something, sound or something
yeah,
mess up. So
yeah.
that's
Don't feel bad. It happens every once in a while. I mean, hell, it's happened to us before when it's just been the two of us. So,
Yeah.
we're Jason and I live 2.5 miles from each other. So,
yeah,
on a normal day when we're just doing the regular show, the normal format and everything, we're 2.5 miles from each other. And there's been days where like my Wi-Fi has died, his Wi-Fi, something's
yeah.
happened. So I mean, yeah, so don't feel bad. These technical difficulties,
Technology is
they pop
great when
up.
it works. So
If we play in a bad way, technical difficulties. Most of the shows, something goes wrong always.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys play by the way?
What's
Do you
that?
guys play? Do you guys play something?
Uh, well, I just like I used to play bass when I was in a band in high school, and I like hadn't played anything in like 30 years, but I just bought one again, so I'm going to try to like kind of revisit it a little bit. I've tinkered with it a little, but I haven't like sat down and actually done anything. So I've actually reached out to a couple of friends of the show, Martin Motnick from Accept, and another bass player from the show, and asked for tips. So on how to get back into this thing. So I'm not really looking to like go out on a road with nobody. I just like tinkering and playing stuff. So.
And I don't play any instruments. I mean, when I was growing up, I've always been playing some sort of sport, so that always took up my time. But I sing in the car, and on occasion I get up and sing karaoke at a bar or something. That's probably about the that's about the extent of my musical career. But
Yeah,
no, I
I
don't.
thought you played the piccolo, man.
I do not. No, I don't. I don't.
Karaoke fueled by some bourbon, perhaps.
Uh,
uh,
well,
Tennessee
yeah.
known for bourbon.
what was that again? Tennessee what?
Tennessee is known for bourbon, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Tennessee. Yeah, the whole like South, Tennessee,
Yep.
Kentucky.
Tennessee
They
and
did.
Kentucky. Yeah.
Yeah, they ain't nothing to do. I guess there wasn't nothing to do back then, but make a distillery and have babies. So I mean,
For a long time.
yeah, that could like coincide into some bad shit though. You get drunk and then have babies with somebody you don't want to. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
So
yes.
was going to ask you guys about is the EPs just something you guys are trying to like get your feet wet and get back into things and maybe release a full length album at some point, or is that because I know some bands prefer 5 or 6 songs, not going full length now. That's the reason I asked. I mean, some people just rather do 3 or 4 songs at a time. Even bigger name bands over here do that now. They're just kind of like, well, there's no sense in putting 12 songs together and we play 6. So that's kind of a thing that's going around over here. I didn't know if that's you guys' plan too or what. So,
Well, it kind of has been because, well, there's 2 reasons. Number one is because most people apparently don't listen to LPs anymore. It's one song there and add another song to a playlist somewhere, and it's maybe 2 or 3 songs as an EP. So that's one reason. And the other one was that the creative process seemed to be going somewhere. So we wanted to just release the first 3 songs because we saw that the creative process was going somewhere else. So perhaps the next 3 songs weren't going to be similar to the first 3 ones. So it kind of makes sense to release the first 3 to just get out there and then start writing new songs.
So just the next 3 just didn't kind of fit with the first 3, I guess.
Maybe, I don't know. You guys can be the judge of that because
Well, I'm just saying. Well, I feel like it was. I feel like they sound different. I mean, to me, the Bullet with Your Name sounds a little bit different than the newer one. So.
Oh yeah.
There's been talks about maybe writing a full length because we get that question a lot. When's the full length coming out? We're writing new songs, and I think, well, we already have one ready that's been played live already. Yeah. Some songs are on the early stages, and there is a plan to maybe write a full length, but we don't know yet.
I know it's like a lot different now than when we grew up because we both grew up in the 90s, and back then you had albums with 12, 14 songs on it, and it's like now 8 or 9 is kind of the limit with most bands nowadays, and that's fine because like I said, if you go out and I don't blame them if you go out and you're only playing 5 or 6 of those songs live, why make 9? I mean, that's kind of like people, like you said, it's like a digital age. People aren't going to listen to those other 3 unless.
Yeah, and we'll have to see about that full length album.
Not me. I listen to stuff front to cover all the time.
I do
front
too.
to back.
Yeah.
So it's
me too. But that doesn't seem to be the case with especially outside of the metal community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And myself, I also like listening to full length albums, and also as a musician, I think it's a nice like artistic journeys, so to speak, to like. Go and do a full-length album, and we have a couple of songs ready, which might evolve at some point to a full-length album when we get some more tunes on the way. But we'll have to see.
So Veli, you were talking about that first EP, and you said that when you saw that the creative process was kind of like going in a different direction, you guys decided to just put out the 3 songs. So was there anything that was all the way done that just kind of got pushed to the wayside, or was it just like the beginning of something and you just decided to stop because it wasn't sounding right? So
I'll have to think about that. Do we have anything ready of the other songs? I don't think they were ready, no.
I think there was at least Will It Take the Void from the second EP. It was at least some version of it was ready.
That one
was
okay.
Ready. Okay.
But the other ones weren't. So once again, the idea was just to release the first 3 songs and start writing the others.
Okay. Because I know that sometimes there's you'll hear stories about well, we chose this 8 or 10 or whatever, and then we had some that we could have used, but we didn't think they fit with the theme of the album, so we've kind of held on to them. So just kind of wondering if that's where it went, because you had alluded to, like you had said, we were going somewhere else, so we decided to pull it back and just do this. So just kind of wondered.
And another reason for that was that Will It Take the Void is another long song. So we didn't want to have 2 short ones and 2 long ones in an EP.
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
It's a 20-minute ride for those two songs. We play them live, actually, back to back.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
nice. Okay. All right.
Dying Star and Will It Take the Void, I played live back to back. That's a 20-minute ride. So usually we just say that if anybody wants to go out and have a beer, now's the time because the next 20
Actually, that's
Yeah.
the worst time. That's the worst time.
So
But if
they,
you like the shorter rock and roll versions, then maybe
Yeah.
it's time for you to go grab a beer.
Yeah.
they say, hey, you get 30 minutes, and you say, hey, we're Barrel. We're gonna play 3 songs for you.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the cool thing is like if because I mean the first EP was like 18 and change, and then the second EP was like 15 and change. So you guys get a
pretty
30
close. Yeah.
yeah you guys get a 35-minute set. You can knock out both EPs. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that's not
But we don't know how long their new stuff is, so we can't say that. So.
right. I'm just talking about as it sits right now. Yeah. So
One of the first of the new songs that has been played live. How long is War now?
I believe it's something like 9 minutes already.
Oh, it's already.
Oh
Yeah.
wow! So,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why that happens, but it happens.
it's like
Oh.
it's like how long was that one song? 9 minutes and 28 seconds. Oh, we could beat that, man.
It's
Yeah.
that it's not even a song if it's not 9 minutes. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You're gonna have
And
a
that-
Metallica 1 on their hands before long. So
Or
Yeah, there are members in our band who kind of like these longer songs, myself included. I mean, I enjoy the more like progressive stuff from Maiden and, for example, Rime of the Ancient Mariner. That's one of my favorites from them, and also from Halloween, for example, Keeper of the Seven Keys, stuff like that. I really like that stuff. So I don't mind that we are doing a song like that, but it's never intentional, as Velu mentioned.
yeah, me too. I mean, the Will It Take the Void, the latter part of Will It Take the Void, where it sort of goes out into the desert, that also started as a bass part.
Oh, okay.
So obviously, I like that kind of stuff as well.
yeah, I know. Like a lot of times I'll hear songs like that on some albums, and I don't like catch myself because I'm driving or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, that's a badass song too, and I look down and say, oh, it's still the same song.
yeah,
It's like,
I've caught myself doing that before too.
so, which there's nothing wrong with it. I don't mind it because when I drive, I drive like an hour one way, so I got time to listen to stuff. But it still kind of like throws me off sometimes. I'm like, wait, what? Oh.
But see, that's the good thing though. Is I mean, even though Dying Star is 9.5 minutes long, Bullet with Your Name is only 3.5 minutes long. So I mean, you've got balance, and then Adonai and Elohim is like 5:42. So I mean, you got short, medium, and long all on the same EP, and and then on the new EP, hell, Will It Take the Void is only 6:45. So it's not even. I wouldn't even really consider that long of a song because I mean, Ed and Man of the Book are both under 5 minutes, and Man of the Book is only 4:01. So I mean, so it's not like you guys are doing all long songs or all short songs. So I mean, there's a balance in there. So, and then with the way that like I said earlier when we were talking about the saxophone part, the way Dying Star is composed, like you say, if you're not paying attention, you could mistake it for 2 songs unless you kind of look down and you're looking at the runtime of the whole thing. So, but you kind of lose yourself in it, which is a good thing because then you're not paying attention to really how long it is. You're just focusing on what you're listening to.
Yeah, and I personally think that that's the way music should be. I mean, there shouldn't be we shouldn't set out to make certain kind of songs or play certain kinds of genres, for example. I mean, why would I want to play, let's say, old school thrash metal because Anthrax has been doing it for 40 years so well? I mean, how can I top that? How can I be better than Slayer, for example? It's not gonna happen. So why set out to do something like that? We just set out to play music, and that's what came out. And I like that kind of creative process.
It just comes out organic at that point, and I feel like a lot of things are better that way.
Me too.
Yeah, and no disrespect to bands who do that. I mean, it's their thing, and if somebody wants
Hmm.
to do that, that's fine. It's not us, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
that's one
Yeah.
that that's one of the great things that we've come to discover doing this for as long as we have at this point, because we are just a couple of weeks from starting our fourth year of doing this. And one thing that we found out is, and it's kind of like a, well, no shit kind of thing, but everybody does it different. Of course
Hmm.
they do, because everyone's different. Everyone's you know we're all in this heavy metal community, but I mean, you've got death metal, thrash metal, metalcore, you got this, that, and progressive metal. And then even if a band is like, well, we're a thrash band, but we sprinkle in this, that, and the other thing. So, you guys are listed as like a speed metal band, but like Valtteri said, I mean, you guys have got the progressive elements in there, so you guys aren't pigeonholed into one genre, which is good. But at the same
Right.
time, you guys are doing things the way that you like to do them, because you said you guys aren't even like writing stuff down. You're playing stuff, see where it goes, and then a bass line turns into a 9.5 minute song before you know what happens. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you can't
Right.
you can't argue with the results. It just doesn't matter what the process is.
Hmm.
Exactly. Sometimes it brings out funny things because one critique that we got from which song was it? I kind of must have been Dying Star probably because
Hmm.
somebody wrote that they had listened to the other songs and then listened to Dying Star and was unhappy because speed metal can't be done this way. I mean, whoever
Yeah.
said that it was speed metal, we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decided that it was speed metal and speed metal can't have saxophones in it, so it's bad. Okay.
Well,
It's
I must have missed that memo too, because I didn't know that was a rule. So,
yeah. Well, I'll
Yeah.
say. Well, at least some of this stuff makes up the rules as they go. I think so. Uh,
Yeah.
well, that's
especially I'll get on Encyclopedia Metallica sometimes, and they're like, oh well, this band's a thrash or I think the last one I did, they said, oh, they're death metal, and I said, no, this band's definitely more metalcore than they are death metal. It's,
mhm.
so I don't know who comes up with that, or if they just assume, or I don't know how that works. So I don't know anything about having to put your stuff on Encyclopedia Metallica. So
Yeah, I guess just some people or metal fans are quite like precise about the genres and everything like
Yeah.
that, but that's not us, obviously.
yeah, I don't.
I
Yeah,
don't.
I don't understand a lot of the division with the genres anyway, but it's all metal to me. So it's like,
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
We get asked. I mean, I get asked sometimes when people hear that I play in a band. Okay, what kind of music do you play? And I say, well, metal. Well, what kind of
Yeah.
metal? Well, I don't know. I can't tell you.
let's
You
see.
decide.
Yeah.
Say buy
Exactly.
buy
I,
buy a ticket to the show and find out. How about that? So,
Yeah.
I actually remember one review of the unanticipated Confessions of Love, and they were kind of also wondering that what is the genre of this band,
Yeah.
and I believe because like we have some darker elements in the lyrics of the new EP, so they kind of decided that we are dark metal,
Yeah.
which sounded pretty cool in my opinion.
Dark
Why
well,
not?
I mean,
I like it.
you kind of get into that. I think you kind of get into the black metal, dark metal, all that. I think all that kind of gets categorized in that area of the world anyway. And I
Which
think it's
is
hard.
totally unfair.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah,
unfair.
because I know we've talked to a few bands from over there that play thrash and stuff like that, and they're just like, oh yeah, it's hard to get gigs, man, if you're not black metal or some other type of death or something or another. That area is just not big on like the thrash and speed metal type stuff. Uh, so in which a lot of bands do come from out there that are black but who
Mhm.
says that has to be the only thing people play? I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get why everybody's like, oh well, this is all they play here. I'm like, well, why though? It's like, I mean,
Absolutely
you're
not.
you're not getting you're not getting a variety of music that way. You're just going to be stuck in a loop, with the same type of stuff over and over and over and over. And that's
Yeah.
to me, that's like, I don't like that. I want a variety, and sometimes I want to, depending on moods, you want to listen to something slower, and then you want to listen to something fast someday, and then if you're in traffic, you want to listen to something very, very fast so you can just mow over people. But
Yeah.
So what's the metal scene in Nashville like?
It's very diverse here. Like you can go like any month. You can pull up a month's calendar here, and you'll see like Cannibal Corpse, and then you'll see Docking. I mean, it's just like it's so wild over here that
Yep.
you just see so much variety of rock and metal here. So
Yeah, it's actually it's actually a lot stronger than people would think, because people,
yeah,
because Nashville's
we get
called,
we get labeled as a being a country music city, but
yeah,
it's really more. It's really more than that. You can go down to the bars in Nashville and you'll get blues and rhythm and blues, and you'll get rock, you'll get country, you'll get metal, you'll get R&B. I mean, you if you want it, you can go downtown in Nashville and get it. I mean, it's
yeah.
just there. So
Yeah, Kid Rock actually has a venue downtown, and it's a multi-level building. And the last time I was there was different music. There was different live music being played on every level of the building. Uh,
mhm.
I think it was the rooftop level. There was a band that was, I don't know if they were a Guns N' Roses tribute band, but the entire time I was up there, I seemed to notice they were playing predominantly Guns N' Roses music. So I don't know if that was a tribute band or if it was just Guns N' Roses. Not, I have no idea. And then but there was all sorts of different live music in Kid Rock's venue, and so I think the metal scene in Nashville, of course, our friend Dana, who he just Jason just posted the comment from a friend of ours. He says he thinks it's oversaturated. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but I definitely think that the metal scene in Nashville is underrated, because there are tons of venues here, big and small. Obviously, we have the arena where the Predators play, so all the big names go there. Like Metallica and Megadeth and Slipknot and all those. In Flames, Trivium, Lamb of God, they go there. But I mean, we saw we saw Exodus, Testament, and Death Angel at a bowling alley that has a concert venue attached to it. We saw Machine Head at another bowling alley that's got a concert venue attached to it. We saw Machine Head at another venue that crammed about 750 people in it, and we were standing there like this because we couldn't fucking move.
Yeah, in a 500-person building.
Yeah, so I mean, we've
Uh,
we've seen Steel Panther. I mean, Megadeth, Iron Maiden,
yeah.
Pantera.
And plus they just remodeled another venue that they're going to reopen next year. So
Yeah,
that's going to be another venue open. So that's going to be good. So
yeah. There's indoor venues, there's outdoor venues. So, I mean, there's no shortage of places to play, which is good because, like I said, all sorts of music comes through Nashville. All sorts of it's not just country music. I mean, I would almost say that it's gotten to the point now, because I've been living here for a little more than 30 years now. I would say the ratio is pretty church venues right there. I'd say the ratio is getting pretty close to even as far as like rock and metal and country. I mean, it may not be dead even, but it's definitely not as skewed as it was when I first moved here. That's for damn sure.
well, it's mainly because you got guys like Jack Gibson and Martin Motnick and all those guys that live here now. So I mean, that's Dave Mustaine was living here, but he moved to Italy. But
yeah, he just moved.
I mean, there was a lot of people living in the area that's metal, and there's a lot of people that like Mark Slaughter that I didn't know he was lived here until I had a chance meeting with him, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you lived here. But it's like so there's a lot of band members that are around here. Lizzie Hale lives here, so I mean, there's a lot of rock metal bands that live in Nashville. So.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any crossover between country and metal?
So there's been some concerts like that. I don't know if there's actually been an artist that's done that. I mean, not to my knowledge, but they have had like Five Finger Death Punch just went on tour with, who was it, Brant Gilbert or somebody like
Brantley
that?
Brantley Gilbert, I think. Is that his name?
I
Brantley Gilbert?
I think something like that. Yeah, but So that's he's a country artist. So they had Five Finger Death Punch and then a country artist. I don't know
think it was
what the attraction there was, but okay. It was like,
I'm wanting to say that Five Finger Death Punch had Brantley Gilbert, and I couldn't even tell you the name of the other one. So I'm wanting to say that they actually took two country acts out on the road with them.
oh, did they really?
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to go back and look, but as far as
can you imagine like just looking out into a crowd with country people and say, "Open up the pit"? You know, I'm like, what the fuck? They're like, what?
Yeah.
We're gonna square dance now, motherfucker.
The floor opens up and they think they're gonna square dance and then they get destroyed by a wall of death.
Well, as a Finn, I can imagine that because country music has that kind of a melancholic element to it, and a lot of the Finnish metal bands are masters of that. I mean, Swallow the Sun, as one of the bands you guys possibly know, and bands like Ghost Brigade and Insomnium and bands like that. They just do the melancholic part so well, the crushingly melancholic part. And I think country music has a lot of that, so crossover might be interesting.
A lot of the bands or a lot of the country music artists nowadays are kind of like riding that pop line, though. They don't really do a lot of more country. They're doing a lot more kind of R&B rap type stuff.
Especially over here, because rap basically, well, maybe not like authentic, rap, but our R&B and stuff, hip hop and R&B basically rule the world over here in the United States. So to kind of echo what Jason was talking about, they are kind of riding the coattails of that. They're kind of treading the line, and a lot of like true country music fans can't stand that shit. They can't stand it, and I don't blame them because I don't think I would like it either.
Well, no, because you're not separating a sound from. You can't call yourself country if you go out there and you're sounding like Britney Spears. That's not country.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't be a fan of that either if I was a fan of country music. But Villo, I think you're kind of right, and I'm surprised that there hasn't been, because to my knowledge, I don't know of an actual collaboration that's like been recorded. So there aren't any to my knowledge. I mean, I'd have to look that up. So I don't know if any, aside from the one tour that we just talked about, I don't know of any collaborations that have been recorded. But I could kind of see how that would work, especially if you're, like you say, especially if you're getting something that, as far as the country aspect, you would have to. I think it would be more of an adjustment for whatever metal band got involved, especially, like if it was a thrash metal band, because obviously they would have to pull it back. They would probably have to kind of pull the tempo back.
Oh, so there was one. Dimebag was actually in it.
Really?
Yeah, it was called Rebel Meets Rebel. David Allen Cole was on vocals, and Dimebag played guitar. It was a metal country crossover project.
I do remember that.
Do you really?
I do.
Yeah, never doing that, but obviously it was done.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I do. I don't think I've heard it, but I remember hearing. Now that you told me the name of it, I actually do remember hearing about it. I don't think I've actually listened to it.
Rebel meets Rebel.
Rebel meets Rebel. Yeah. Then there's Jeff Walker, Undie Fluffers. It's a former Carcass bassist. Jeff Walker gathered some friends from him, Paradise Lost, Carcass, Faith No More, Amorphous, and a few others, and formed a metal country band.
Amorphous, you said?
Really?
He didn't say what member of Amorphous was in there, but he gathered a member or two from there. It looks like.
And Ville Valo, he's from Finland. He's from Finland.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so it's
interesting.
And I know there's actually 10 listed here, which is kind of wow, because I've never heard of any of them.
And I do know that Devil Driver did like an outlaw country
Yeah.
covers album, but that doesn't count as a collaboration because they didn't have any guests on it. They just covered a bunch of country songs.
Oh my
I
God.
don't necessarily think that would count.
Okay, so since we're this is kind of crazy, I just found one called Mand O War, Mando War, and they're all like the one guy looks like he's just I mean they kind of look like they're like making metal facial expressions, and they all got cowboy hats on. It's kind of
Leathers and cowboy hats. Cool.
oh my God. Oh, let me see if I can let me y'all got to see this. So.
I think if you're talking a literal Man of War and country music crossover, there would be nothing but like loincloths and cowboy boots.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's let me see,
I couldn't see Ross the Boss wearing spurs.
I'm gonna try to blow it. I think I got this blowed up enough where we can actually see it. Just a second. Yeah, so him bringing up Mental War, and I seen that, and I said, "Oh, I gotta mention that because we've been talking about Mental War already." So
yeah, and this one was totally new to me. I haven't heard of this before. So
yeah, let me share screen.
This is probably going to be priceless.
Oh yeah.
There you go. That's Mando War, Mando War. So
all right.
Is that John Lennon in the middle?
It looks like Les Claypool.
Yeah. Metal. Amy said metal country is an oxymoron.
Pretty close.
I don't know, man. You can smash up anything nowadays. It seems like so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty wild. I mean, yeah, because it's going to be different because nobody's doing it.
It'll definitely be different. It'd absolutely be different.
There should not be limits in art. No kinds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to knock it because I can't play none of this shit. So
that's true. That's very true.
I'm like, you do you, man. You do you. If you can do it, you do it. So
yeah. So there was
this one kind of made me laugh. It's called the Shred Billies.
Okay, I'm intrigued by that.
Yeah.
Country metal band, yeah. Shred
I'm intrigued by that. I do know that there's a
they actually just had a release this year actually, so
really
called Billy's That Shred. That's what it's called. Billy's That Shred.
All right. I do know that there's a guy on YouTube, and I can't remember his name. But
always on YouTube.
That's pretty funny.
Well, yeah, there is, and I can't remember, but he did a Jason, you may have seen this. He did Psychosocial by Slipknot with banjos.
Oh yeah.
You know what Jason, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, is it the same? Is it the same guy that did the same ones that did the AC/DC one? You remember the AC/DC one?
I think so. Yeah.
The Thunderstruck that was all
yes.
like big old moonshine jugs.
Yes. I can't remember.
And it was actually good too. I'm just like,
yeah.
I want to hate this, but I can't.
Right. Hang on a second.
You mean Steven Seagal's?
No, it's not Steven Seagal's, but it's not them. It's not them though.
I even forgot about that name till you just said that.
Hang on, it's the
Thunderstruck version I've ever seen.
Yeah, hang on.
It's kind of like the Austrian death metal. Always trips me out too.
They got
the Arnold voice.
Yeah, Austrian Death Machine.
Yeah, Death Machine. Yeah.
Austrian Death Machine.
Yeah, they do the Arnold Schwarzenegger voice in their songs.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I found it. It's the Psychosocial cover that's on banjos is it's Rob Scallon that does it.
Okay.
And then he's got that Leo Moraccioli is a guest on that.
He's an amazing guy.
Yeah. So, and I've seen Leo do I've seen him do so many covers.
It's just amazing. He's in this week.
Yeah,
it's an awesome cover.
Yeah, so I've seen Leo do tons of stuff. I saw Leo do and he had a guest vocalist, and I can't remember her name, but Leo did a heavy metal cover of Africa by Toto.
Oh yes, I remember that.
That was really good, but yeah, Leo's
We probably actually heard like some country songs done in a metal as metal, because we follow Anthony Vincent all the time and he does all that shit.
Oh, that's true. And I know all that
the 10-second song guy.
Yeah, I do know that, and I do know that All That Remains did a Garth Brooks cover too. So
I hated that song.
it didn't turn out.
Yeah,
it didn't turn out great, but I mean they did do it. So
it was done.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So evidently there are. So this is the kind of thing that's cool, because we discover stuff a lot of times because we would have never thought about looking that up if you hadn't said nothing.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. I mean,
that's
I
would have never imagined there would have been a metal country band. That's
Mm-hmm.
wild.
And like I say, I completely forgot about the Rebel meets Rebel thing. I completely forgot about it. I need to listen to it because I haven't listened to it. I know of it, but I have not listened to it. I need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I do need to do
And
that.
Oh, all right. So get back to you guys a little bit. I was actually good. You brought up the title of the last EP, Unanticipated Confessions of Love. I know when I first seen that, I'm just like, okay, this is probably going to be a 80s Night Ranger type thing, but we'll go ahead and listen to it. And it's like then they started playing. I was like, what the fuck? That is not what I expected. so I was like pleasantly surprised. So that just shows you kids don't judge a book by its cover. So
no, absolutely not.
That was the whole idea with the title.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it came out
like
Man of the Book.
Man of the Book. Yeah,
I was
okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I listened to Man of the Book and I heard the line in there and I was like, I wonder what came first, the album title or the line in the song, or vice versa, because there was a country tribute album to Motley Crue. Oh Jesus.
That sounds
Well,
interesting.
I mean, I can imagine they would get away with that with like Home Sweet Home and stuff like that. They could probably. I can't see a country version of Live Wire. I don't know if I could see that or not, but
I'm having a hard time picturing it. Yeah,
but definitely some of the ballady type Motley Crue songs you could definitely pull that off.
Yeah. Without You and Home Sweet Home and yeah, I could see that.
Interesting. I didn't know that either. So like the only crossover that I knew of was what you were talking about with Devil Driver when they did that country country covers or whatever.
Yeah, I think that one was called Outlaws to the End or something like that.
Yeah, Outlaws.
But the name of the EP, did you guys decide to like name the EP after all the songs were written? Because like I say, the line in Man of the Book is the actual name of the EP. So
Yeah, the name I believe came after we had all the songs written, lyrics included. I suppose like there was the idea that there was some kind of like common theme for all the songs, and that was Unanticipated Confessions of Love. Maybe Velu can explain that a bit better.
Well, I don't know if I can do it better, but anyways, Ed is basically, in a way, a song about love, because the both Eds that are mentioned in the song were trying to get love from their moms, but didn't, and then turned out to be monsters, basically. That's Ed Gain and Ed, what's his name?
Kemper.
Ed Kemper.
Yeah.
yep.
The two Eds that the song is about. So that's about love in a way.
And those were actual authentic sound bites in that song.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's an interview of Ed Kemper
Right.
explaining what he did, and that's pretty chilling stuff.
Yeah.
to say the least. And Man of the Book has the line of the title of the EP there, so that's in a way about love, because the concept of the song comes from a book by Jorge Luis. What's his last name?
I don't remember.
I forget. Well, I'll come up with soon enough.
But it was Library of Babel, right?
Yeah, Library of Babel
Yeah.
is the book. It's a short story about a library which has all the combinations of the letters in the alphabet in books arranged in the library. So every combination of the letters that you can possibly have in a book is in there. And if you change one letter in a book, that's a new book, and so on and so forth. So it's basically a limitless library, and it has everything in it: unwritten words of gods, unwritten words of poets, everything you've ever said, everything you're ever going to say in your life. It's got the true story of your death and a million versions of your death, which are not true. So once again, all the combinations of letters you can have is in that library. And so there's also confessions of love that you should have told your loved ones, but you didn't. So that's the unanticipated confessions of love part.
Gotcha.
And then the last song is about a father's love for his children, unconditional love. What a father would do for his children if need be. So that's the sort of the theme of the EP. It wasn't meant to be that way, but it turned out that way.
Yep.
So once again, there was no plan to write a theme EP, but
Yeah.
it just turned out that way.
So
love
real
it
quick,
when a plan comes together.
right? So real quick, is there 5 of you guys in the band now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I seen where Eunice got added at like this year, so I guess they didn't play on the 2022 release then.
Yeah, it's pretty much like Jonas has been there for 1 year now.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So when y'all recorded the first EP, was it just 4 of you guys, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just 4 of us. Like after
Oh,
the
gotcha.
Jonas joined the band.
Gotcha. Okay, so that definitely would explain a little bit of the sound difference between the first and second one, I'm sure. So you got more
Yeah.
guitars to play with.
Mhm.
Yeah, Janne did all the guitars for the first EP, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
always a different thing when you have 2 guitars, 2
Oh
different
yeah,
sounds.
most definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you got a lead and a rhythm, it's always a different combination makes a different sound. So
Yeah, and different players play differently. I mean,
true, that's true. Yeah.
played different kinds of guitars for the first EP, but it's still the same guy, so he plays in a certain way.
Yeah, it took me a long time, like to realize, like I guess probably since I started doing the show, I didn't really realize until I started going to shows and I read an article, and I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about, uh, how many guitars they had and stuff. And I think it was a bass player, and he was like, "Yeah," he said, "I got this one and this one and this one." He said, "I take about 30 on tour with me, and I use like 12 or so depending on what we're playing." And I was just like, "Why?" And then I realized that he was saying, he's like, "Well, there's there's certain they're tuned for certain songs. So when they changes up the songs, he changes up the bass, and it's already tuned and ready to go for that song." I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense, I guess."
Does
So,
make sense. Yeah.
yeah. So when I see them change it now, I'm always like, "Oh, okay, they're playing something. They're playing something from a different album." So,
More than likely. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but that always kind of amazes me now, because I didn't know, when I was 15 or 16 going to concerts, I never paid attention to shit like that. I was just, probably
Just banging
yeah, I was just out there in the mosh pits and
Yeah.
drinking and having fun. So now I'm too old for that shit. I was trying to sit in the back and
And actually watch the show. Yeah.
yeah, actually watch the shows. So,
So, Billy, you guys talked about earlier. You talked about the actual recording process. Now, I assume you guys are still, independent and on your own. So, where exactly does the recording process take place? I mean, do you guys have your own studio, or are you going outside and doing it somewhere?
We're going outside. We have a friend who actually runs a studio, and we've been to that same place for both of the EPs.
very
Yeah.
cool.
Well, that definitely helps.
Yeah, right. Free in the low places. Yeah.
And he's amazing. He plays guitar himself, and he's really good. And like I said, he played the saxophone
Yes.
on
Oh,
the
okay,
first
cool.
EP. And amazing professional, but still fun to be around. So it's basically a kind of a family outing for the weekend. It's really fun.
And you guys have some great weekends up there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yes, you-
Well, it's not outside, so we gotta have some great weekends.
well, yeah, that's true. That's true. So we always, you know, at some point we always end up talking about album covers. So I figure, you know, there's no time like the present to discuss it. Jason, if you want to pull that up when you get a second. So did the same person involved in the actual designing of your logo did they have anything to do with the actual album cover, or was that a different contributor?
No, that was that the album covers were made by us,
Yes.
as you can probably see from the bad results.
Oh, oh no, come on.
Design involved there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was do it yourself. The first one, the first cover is a photo I took when we were traveling to that was it Latvia.
Latvia, yeah, Riga.
The first, no, that one. The first one was in Latvia, Riga, Riga, Latvia, rather, where we went to the KGB museum. Not a fun.
Oh, okay.
And that's actually a bullet hole from the wall where they executed people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's a
that's
bullet
not-
there that actually went through some person back in the I don't know,
Oof.
70s or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a pretty dark concept.
Yeah.
That was just ran through a software that turned it into a grainy picture. And I think that got banned by Facebook for a while. I guess
Oh
they
wow.
sort of deciphered that it actually was a bullet hole. That's the story of the first one. And then the second one was just, it's an AI picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we
It
go.
was, we gave the AI a prompt to draw a picture of a young woman getting into a 70s car. So that's Ed Kemper's car, basically.
Right.
And the girl getting into it, about to receive an unanticipated confession of love.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's not getting in the front seat of the car.
no, she's getting in the trunk.
No, she is not.
So that's basically the story of the covers. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, look at it this way. You guys, I mean, you guys were talking about how it didn't come out great. If you ever feel like that, just go ahead and look at Pantera's debut album, and you'll feel you'll feel a hell of a lot better about any album cover you guys come up with. So
we actually initially we thought that it doesn't really matter what the cover is because we were not going to make physical copies. We're not going to be printing LPs with large, huge covers of them. It's just going to be a thumbnail in Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
But then the one thing we forgot is that there's going to be reviews of the EPs where it's going to be a big picture.
Yeah, the inset blows up. Yeah.
Yeah, but like as mentioned previously, we are kind of like considering at the moment that maybe the next effort will be a full-length album. And if that's the case and we are gonna actually make physical copies, then we know a couple of pretty good artists who can do album covers as well. So we are probably gonna use those guys or girls then.
Yeah, that would make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
I think one of the things that surprised me when I was looking at you guys is there's not another band named Barrel, which was kind of amazing to me. It's like really like nobody ever like thought any that simple. I guess it's just like, oh no, we got to come up with something off the wall crazy, and like just that name just got left out of like 50 million bands along the way somehow. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and we just needed a name. There was no planning to it. We just needed a name, and wanted it to just have one word instead of a long sentence, a run-on sentence.
Right.
Yeah,
So we just came up with Barrel, and it's just stuck. So that's where we are.
Yeah, we're kind of like thinking something simple, striking, and something very metal.
Yeah.
Barrel,
it's a lot better than what I had to do when I was in the entertainment industry. So So, I was actually a pro wrestler for 18 years, and when I got into the business, a guy called me. I had been training for like 10 months, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, we're good." And he's like, "So you ready?" I said, "Ready for what?" He's like, "You ready to wrestle?" I'm just like, "That's what I've been doing for 10 months, isn't it?" He's like, "No, no, 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 not training." He's like, "You're going into the ring in 2 weeks." I'm just like, what do you mean?" He said, "Yeah, we're making the flyers now, so you need to call me back in like an hour and a half with a name." I'm just like, "Wait, what? Like, I got an hour and a half to come up with a fucking name? Like, dude." And he's just like, "Well, you should have been thinking about this the whole time." I'm like, "Asshole, you never told me I was like needed a damn like gimmick. I was just going to use my own damn name." He said, "No, man, you don't want to do that." Like, so, he said, mainly because people don't like you, they're going to fuck your shit up. So I was like, okay, you got a point. So
That is true.
so
So
I'm sitting here like just writing shit, I was like, okay, what's my favorite TV show, like, or what I like. And at the time I was like, I liked Highlander, but then I was just like, okay, I can't pull off anything Scottish because I'm too fucking country for that shit. So I can't do that. So I don't know. It was like, and I was like, it was like deadline. He called me back. He was like, "Hey, dude, like it's been like you're 10 minutes over, man. I need this now. We're making flyers like in 20 minutes." I'm just like, but so I look over and my kids were small at the time and they were watching a cartoon called Johnny Quest. And I was just like, I don't know, just call myself JT Quest. I don't care. Like at this point, I was like, I'll change it later or some shit, And I was just like, so that's how like my wrestling name came up, which is crazy as hell. But it's funny. Like sometimes you just gotta like, hey, we need this now. And I'm just like, out of the blue. And I'm like, what the? So I imagine it would be like that with a band sometimes. It's like, you go in like Motley Crue was called Christmas, and he's like, you got to come up with something better than that. We need it by this date, And then of course, Mick had the idea for Motley Crue, so that's what they went with. But it's just amazing of how sometimes those things just happen because you just you're put in a spot where you just have to come up with something. And I guess that's pretty a pretty telling story of the individual too. Is like, how creative are you? Can you come up with something this quick? I guess, but but it's still. And speaking of that, I know Chris was talking about this earlier, so I guess I'll just go ahead and tell that story since we're talking about this. But as a wrestler, my interest music for God, I don't know, for probably the last 13 years of my career was was Non-Points Bullet with a Name. That was my theme music for 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 that time. So so it's kind of, when I seen that, I thought, oh well. And then I noticed it had "Your" in there. I said, well, it's not a cover because that's not the
Right.
name of their song. So so I was like, so this is going to be interesting. So, but I
I like
do
how,
love.
and I like how the beginning of the song still had the the
Yup,
loading
still
of
got
the
the
loading of the
yeah,
chamber. So it's still
yeah,
kind of cool. They had that in
yeah,
there.
yeah. It is cool.
You
I
still
think that.
train?
No, I haven't done anything in like 4 years, man. Like once I hit my 40s, man, that mat doesn't give like it did when you were 20. So I was definitely feeling it, and I was just like, you know what, I had to look at a point to where, okay, do I want to be able to hold grandkids at some point, or do I want to be walking with a cane at 60? I was like, yeah, it's kind of a health reason. And like I said, I wasn't doing anything major anyway. I wasn't making like thousands and thousands of dollars or anything, so it wasn't like it was that was keeping me in it. Like money wasn't keeping me in there, so
Yeah.
so
It's a brutal sport.
yeah, it is. A lot of people don't realize how wild it is, but
Yeah,
it's
the people who are in the wrestling is fake crowd, they're so misinformed.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah. I always tell them, say, well, when you put on the boots and do it, then you can tell me that. But
exactly. Go do that yourself and talk about fake.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, my ACL and my shoulder and a couple of stitches and all that stuff would disagree with you. So
Mm-hmm.
Happens when you run into 300-pound guys.
Yeah.
yeah, multiple 300-pound guys in some cases. So,
Yeah. So, Jason, do you want to ask them the blanket question we ask all our guests?
the blanket question. Well,
Who was that?
well, yeah. Seeing as you guys have toured, so we always like to hear if there's any kind of stories that ever stuck out, whether they be crazy or just memorable. Or
Well, one thing that comes to mind was from the gig in Helsinki that Valtteri mentioned. We had two guys from South America
Oh yeah, right.
Oh wow.
On the gig, it's a small venue in Helsinki, like you said, it's Lepakkomies or Batman, and we had these two guys from South America banging their heads off in the middle of the crowd throughout the whole gig, and that was really fun. Because sometimes people in Finland can be a bit reserved. We're not that outgoing sometimes, and then those two just made the show. And afterwards, one of the guys came over to talk to us too, and we had some beers, and he explained himself that we back in South America we're kind of touchy feely. Can we hug you? And so we're hugging hugging this guy in the middle of the venue, drinking beers, and
Everybody else probably looking at you like, "What the fuck are they doing?"
so it's not debauchery, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but that was kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I said, just anything that's memorable. So it's definitely memorable.
It doesn't always have to be something ridiculously over the top or anything. So I mean, but it's cool that a couple of guys from way down there went way up there, and you guys were able to
That's the connection part of music. That
Yeah.
was like you've got your Metalheads Unite logo or name, and that was the whole idea of that thing happening. They were from Peru, in Helsinki, in the middle of the winter. That was kind of odd.
I bet
Wow,
that was
yeah.
I bet that was culture shock for them because it does not snow in Peru.
Right. We actually have a friend that where his sister does the stuff.
We've got a buddy that we met actually at a show in Nashville, and he's become a friend of the show. He's got a Facebook. He actually has he has two Facebook groups. He's got a Facebook group that he lives up in Nashville, and he live streams the concerts that he goes to. And then he's originally from Peru, and his sister still lives down there. And then the second Facebook group, basically his sister more or less oversees it, I guess. And then all of the concerts that come through, their neck of the woods down there, she live streams it. So, it's a brother sister thing. He's up in the United States. She's still down in South America, down in Peru. He's originally from there, of course. But so yeah, we have a little bit of a South American connection, as well. So his name's Victor, his sister's name is Rosemary, and so just happened to meet him at a concert one night. It was actually, believe it or not, it was actually after the show. We were watching the Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel show, and I was talking to a buddy of his up against the rail in between sets. And then after the show, when we were walking out to our car, I actually went out to talk to the first guy that I met, and Victor is his name. Victor was actually standing there talking to the guy that I had actually met. So I struck up a conversation with both of them. And then, as luck would have it, a couple months later, Jason and I, we drove out to Knoxville, which is about 3.5, maybe 4 hours east of here, to go see a concert. And Victor was actually at the same show, and I thought I recognized him. And then after I was about halfway through the show, I think it was, and I was like, "Didn't I see you in Nashville like a month ago?" And then so we started.
Didn't you meet him at the Megadeth show?
No. That's where
Megadeth show.
No, that's where I met Dana in person the first time. Was at the
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
So I met Dana at the Megadeth show, and then I met Victor briefly at the Testament show. Ran into him again in Knoxville.
Ooh, that's right.
At the Angelus Apatrida concert.
Yeah, that's right.
The Angelus Apatrida concert, and then he went to the Tennessee Metal Devastation Fest with us, in October. So, and then obviously we saw him again earlier this year when Havoc came to town. So, so Victor.
Well, then I saw him again at the Queensryche show that I went to that.
Oh, that's right.
So at that show too. So
yeah, so Victor's become a friend of the show, and so
he hits a lot more shows than we do. So
yeah, I don't know how he manages to find time to get to as many shows as he does. It's nuts, because he drives up to Chicago, he drives down to Atlanta. It's like, Jesus Christ, Victor, what are you doing, man? It's nuts. He is all over the place.
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah, it's a
we got an interesting introduction to the venue that I just mentioned, Lepakkomies, because when we pulled up to start unloading for our stuff for the show, a guy just walked up to the car and started talking to us, and obviously wasn't he was a bit under the influence, so to speak. And all
Okay.
of a sudden, he drops his pants, and I mean all of them, all his pants, underwear included, and started shooting up drugs into his thigh in the middle of the
oh
street.
my god.
Jesus Christ.
It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're just looking at him like, okay, so this is the place we're gonna play tonight. It's gonna get wild.
It's
Golly.
like, yeah, don't get
Where's-
near the stage like that, yeah.
Where's Batman when you really need him? Oh,
So,
that's
I,
hilarious.
I imagine I don't imagine they'll ever have anybody like storm the stage or nothing. You know, with the Notorious Physique there, he looks like he would be able to take a few people out if you try to bum rush him. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never happened.
Mhm.
well, that's why, because they look at you like, no, fuck that. There was somebody else we interviewed a while back that was like they were jacked up too, and I'm just like, damn, dude, like. Well, Jason from Halo Scars is kind of like that too. So, pretty big guys.
Yeah. That's why I asked if you're still training. I mean, you look like it.
Yeah.
You look like
Well, I went to where I work at now. I kind of work. We were working in the office, and then we kind of went mobile. We had like some incidents happen in the parking garage where people were getting carjacked and that kind of shit. So they sent us all home until they found a new office. They said, just go home. We're going to find a new office in a safer area. So we were working from home for, God, I don't know, over a year. And like, when I realized like it didn't feel like it, but like I went and weighed at the doctor and they kept telling me, oh, well, you weigh this, you weigh that. I'm like, oh shit, there ain't no fucking way. So I get home and get on the scale and it was like saying something different. I'm like, oh man, the doctors are crazy. So then I went back, like had to go back to the doctor and he's like, you know, 290 and all. I'm like, no fucking way. I don't weigh no 290, dude. And like, so I was like, man, maybe my scale's broke. So I ordered a new scale. And when I ordered the new scale, I got on it, and sure enough, I was like 289. I said, "Oh, fuck that!" I said, "This is good. I've never been that heavy in my life. Like the heaviest I ever been was around 250." So I was just like, "Jesus Christ!" And I really gained that much weight sitting at home, and I guess I did. And like, so I was like, "All right, we got to figure out something." So we started changing the diet a little bit, and we got back in the gym at least 2 to 3 times a week. So, and then I think I'm down to about 269 now. So I've lost like 20 pounds. So I'm getting there. But it's definitely slow going. So, but yeah, I've always been lucky with that because I guess like I was talking to one of my massage therapists and he was just like, "Man, you just got good muscle memory, I guess, dude." Because like it just like 2 or 3 weeks after, it just was like I never left. So
yeah, it comes back really quick. I mean,
yeah, it does.
Who've injured themselves lifting and had some have had like 6 month hiatuses from training, and when they come back, it comes back real quick.
Yeah,
They get all their strength back in, I don't know, 2 months or whatever.
yeah, it's crazy seeing some of that stuff. You like seeing some little guys in there, too. It's just like they're cut up and stuff, but they're small, and then they're over there trying to, deadlift, 300-400 pounds. It's like, dude, y'all are crazy. There was one other thing I was trying to ask you. We got to talk about working out, and I forgot. I think like I was looking at like the other band that you guys were in, it was also independent, correct?
Say that again?
The other band that you guys were in,
Yeah.
Distocracy, it was also independent.
Yeah.
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 We also
So-
released EPs with it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So have any of you guys ever played on a band with a label or?
Well, I had a band previously. We were on a small German record label with our first album. It's actually a band called Crimson Day. We have actually toured with those guys recently. They are awesome also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Honku, the drummer, he plays for another band, but I don't know if they're signed.
I believe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have also just independent records.
It's called Dead Samaritan.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I asked this because we had a conversation about this today. Actually, I was arguing with a guy on here, just like on one of the socials today, and he was like, "Oh, well, you need to be on a label." I said, "No, I mean, you don't have to be on a label." I said, but he was talking about a bigger band, Adelaide's Way, had been on a label, and then they decided to go independent. And he's like, "Oh man, since they went independent, they hadn't got many bookings and stuff like that." I was like, "Well, Nonpoint did that a couple of years ago, and they put out 2 EPs on their independent label, and they've been doing fine. They've been touring constantly and doing shows and doing all the other stuff." And I said, "So it's when you go independent, you got to realize, hey, I don't have that person, getting me these gigs and stuff anymore. I don't have that person. You have to go out and find that person on your own now because the record label usually provided those people. So if they don't have that, then that's where they're missing out because you got to put in that work that wasn't normally something you would do because you had a record label doing a lot of it. So, and I think a lot of people lose sight of that. They think, oh, well, I'll just go on my own and it's just going to be fine because I have a big name. Well, not necessarily, because even though you're a big name, in some parts, maybe some people never heard of you. I mean, we run into that all the time. That's why we did the show. We ran into bands and we tell this story all the time on here. We were listening to some music on a Friday night by a campfire before we started this thing, and a song came on, and I was like, "Oh, this is badass!" And we look it up, and it's Onslaught, and they've been around since like the '80s, and we're like, "I've never heard of these motherfuckers." It's like, and it's 19, I think at the time.
It's 2019.
So, yeah. So we were just like, we've never heard of these guys. And then their album came out in 2020.
2020.
Right?
Generation Antichrist came out in 2020.
And then we was like, oh man, this is fucking great. And then go back and listen to their older catalog and stuff. And that's kind of like why we started the show. Like, okay, if we haven't heard of them, I mean, we're big metalheads. We haven't heard of that. And how many bands are out there that people don't know? And that's kind of why we kind of got on this show. Started the show was to try to get a lot more of that out there. And
yep.
I know people that listen to the show over and over heard this story 1,000 times, and I'm sorry, but but it's but I think like I said, I think it needs to be said because we need more shows like this. Honestly, I mean, I ain't afraid of a little competition, so we need more.
No, we just need more. We just more people watching this show is what we need.
Yeah.
Worth telling because that's exactly what the scene needs. I mean,
and it's like we're not making a dime from doing what we're doing. We're just doing it for the love of the music. We love the fucking music. We love the genre of music, and we want to see it succeed. I mean, whether it be, and we've watched bands that we've interviewed on this show, kind of get a little boost and blow up a little, and I'm like, man, this is awesome, dude. Like we had those guys. I want to look back one day and maybe in a couple of years, and you guys be on like one of the big festivals over there, and I'll be like, hey, those guys were on the show.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
that's good.
So I mean, I think it's like at some point you're doing your thing as your talent, and then we're doing our thing as our talent. Then hopefully we all kind of grow together. That's the whole purpose of everything. Is to kind of everybody grow into one big metal forest.
We did get a couple offers after the first EP, but they didn't make sense. They were sort of just marketing deals, basically.
Yeah,
I got you.
That's what it usually is. We get offers from some Finnish, basically marketing organizations where you're supposed to do everything yourself, and they'll just give you a pizza list where you can order marketing services from them, and they call that a deal. I mean,
Well, we've had people reach out to us and email us. I think there was one a while back, and they were like, "Hey, we would love for you guys to use our product." And and I thought, oh, okay, you're going to give us some stuff. But they didn't say anything about money or anything at the time. They say, "Hey, we'd like to give you this microphone to use and just advertise what you're using on the show." And I'm like, cool, we can do that. So I'll tell them I'm interested, and then they send me this thing on, it's a $599 microphone, but we'll let you have it for $200. I'm like, no, we're not letting you have anything. If you want me to use it on the show, that's fine. I'll be like, hey, this is a A and B microphone, and appreciate them guys giving us this technology to try out, and I love it, and you guys should, if anybody out there is interested in it, then you buy one. But they didn't do that. They were just like, oh yeah, it's like $200. I'm like, no, I'm not paying $200 for a microphone because I don't even have but $120 tied up in all of my stuff. So it'd be crazy to go out and pay $200 just for a microphone.
Yeah, so we might be independent as well. We don't need to buy marketing from some marketing organization that calls it a record deal.
Yeah.
Besides,
Right.
there are so many bands around that getting signed is not an easy task, anyways. I mean, Finland has the most metal bands per capita in the world, so there's a lot of competition, which is once again, of course, a good thing because we like that. We like to have the bands and we like to have the scene. It's a good thing.
Yeah. So have you guys ever opened up for a bigger band over there? Or?
Well, define bigger.
Yeah.
None of the real big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like a Man of War or Gravedigger or something like that.
No, nothing like that.
No.
Yet.
Yeah. We did mention Prestige in the beginning. They opened up for Manowar, but that's yeah.
Prestige played with Manowar, and we played with Black Royal, which is I guess one of the sort of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
In Finland, at least, they got a bit of traction a couple of years back.
Okay.
It's not a huge name. I don't know if you guys heard of them, but
what was the name again?
Black Royal. I'm about to.
Actually, I have heard of them.
Yeah.
Sort of a sludgy, black metalish kind of crossover thing. Really love that.
I've heard of that name. I've heard of the name. I can't remember exactly the sound because, like I said, I listen to so much. We listen to so much stuff, man. Sometimes we're just like, did I listen to that? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I counted last year. I listened to like, I don't know, or since we started the show, I've listened to 200 albums. So it's kind of crazy to say that now. I'm just like, wow, that's good. And then of course, whatever we listened to this year on top of that. So we got like a list that comes out, and it's probably got. I'll show you like one of these. This was just from this week. There's like that's all the albums that came out like 2 weeks ago. So so I mean we're going through and like checking them off, what we like, what we didn't like, and
and that's just two of us trying to do that and trying to work regular jobs and everything else. And I'm sure you guys can relate. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's hard to get to everything. So it's like we're we do our year in review, and I said, we do this on what we listen to. We're not Loudwire or anybody like that does this for a living. So we can't listen to everything. And of course, I don't agree with a lot of the shit they put out there anyway. So it's they usually like they'll do like there's one guy on there, all he listens to is death metal. So I mean, which is fine. Yeah. But he obviously leans that way, so he obviously puts it on, puts his stuff up there. And then you got, somebody that listens to like you say, like a sludgy stoner rock, and then they do their thing, and there's never
a consensus.
9 times out of 10, like we'll have 2 albums out of their 4 people that listed their top 10. That listed their top 10.
Yeah.
So it's definitely opinionated. I mean,
it's subjective for sure.
Yeah, we're not like I said, we're not professional listeners, so I can't speak on every album. Just what I hear. So
yeah. It would definitely be nice to be able to put a lot more of a dent into like a list that he showed you. It'd be nice to be able to do that because like most weeks I'll get like an LP and maybe an EP or 2, and then because I mean I got full-time job, house, kids, dog, all that good shit. So
don't we all?
Yeah. So definitely not enough hours in the day. So no, definitely not. So speaking of which, since you guys are independent, and you guys haven't put out physical copies of the new album yet. So when you guys if and when you guys get to that point, how do you guys see yourselves like handling the distribution of physical copies? Is that anything you guys have talked about yet, or any kind of plan, or you're just gonna wing it like writing a song? So
Well, like I mentioned, we had some offers from record companies for well, after the first EP, one of which included a distribution deal for a physical copy.
Okay.
So that's probably the route we're going to look into if we put out a physical copy. Just having
Yeah, yeah,
having somebody distribute it. We're
Right.
probably going to make it ourselves. We're probably going to produce it ourselves. Probably nobody knows, but probably, and then have somebody distribute it out into the world. Hopefully,
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of bands that do that stuff too. It's just crazy because like I said, if you once you get a website built, then it's pretty easy to just stick it on there and kind of get a census or of what how many people want to buy and all that stuff, and then you can kind of be like, okay, so there's 200 orders we possibly got right here, so let's make 300 albums or whatever. And
Bandcamp, for example,
mm,
they
get
put
right,
Bandcamp, yeah.
as well, and
yeah,
there's
yeah.
other other chances of doing that. So it doesn't have to be a record company.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bandcamp is really, really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Recording's so easy nowadays, and putting out music is so easy nowadays that I don't know if you're gonna need a record company pretty soon.
right.
You may not.
As far
You
as
may
I
not.
Yeah,
understand, like record
it's
stores in Tampere, for example, who also distribute internationally. So
Yeah,
like that's one possibility as well.
and
And
black
that would
metal,
be, and
Strokes forever. I mean, that scene's there as well.
yeah. And it would also be cool if you could keep everything local, because obviously you could have more hands in it, and plus being from Finland, if you can have somebody from Finland help you get it together and get it out, it keeps everything close, but it also keeps everything you know helps the economy and all that stuff, which is good, because you get something from, let's say you do get something from a label. More often than not, they're not going to be in Finland with you guys. I mean, it's possible, but odds are, that it wouldn't be. And you don't want to feel that's. Obviously I've never had that experience, but I would hate it if I had to experience like just having to interact with somebody who was just kind of like a nameless, faceless, kind of just generic
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like just send us the album and we'll get it out. Like they care, but they don't. And
right.
that would really suck. So, I mean, I would probably lean more towards doing it the way you guys are talking about doing it if I had to. I think that's probably the way I would go.
Signing silly deals with and getting into the music business bullshit. I mean, who
Right.
needs that?
Yeah.
There's always going to be somebody who's trying to rip you off in that business. Always.
Yeah.
I've never asked this before because I don't know why it just dawned on me. But is it? Do you see like when you're making music? Is it like going and buying a car where you got all these like people out like, oh hey, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Kind of like a car salesman when they see you, they come out and go, hey, what are you looking for? What are you looking to buy?
Yeah, they're really bad about that here. I mean, you can't even get
right.
you pull into the parking lot before you get out of the car. You got a salesman at your window. It's just, so I can only imagine what it's like having, like labels, or like you say, even companies just wanting to offer you those generic distribution deals. I can't even imagine how, like, I mean, do they come off slimy? Because it seems like they would. Do they?
Yes and no. I mean, the
Sometimes.
offers that we had, the contacts were actually pretty cool.
Okay.
Not
All right. Well, that's
with
good.
at all. But some earlier ones with previous bands have been kind of sleazy.
Yeah.
Like they send you a pizza list of their marketing offers that you can buy
Yeah.
off the list.
Uh,
That's another whole different deal.
Yeah.
Not
So that
good.
doesn't. Yeah.
But
that
these
doesn't
guys that
make
we've been
sense.
talking to have been really cool. No problems at all.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously you always hear the horror stories, and obviously it's never that way all the way, all across the board. But
I know.
it's it's that whole kind of thing of like a few bad apples spoil a whole bunch and everything. So I mean, you hear some of like the stuff that some of these groups go through, and big and small. I mean, small groups, big groups, because even a big act was a small act at some point, and they had to go through the same growing pains as everybody else. I mean, you just hear some of the, I mean, hell, even Ozzy. I mean, back in Black Sabbath's days, they were making, they had all this money and all this drugs. Come to find out, they didn't own shit. They didn't own anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, it even happened to Ozzy Osbourne. So I mean,
I don't imagine you'll have a record label now though saying, "Hey, take these 4 guys and send them over here and record Ride the Lightning or something." And they say, "Oh, here's 10 grand, go record this," and then they get, "Hey, well, you only got 2 songs out of 8 weeks. What the hell?" Like, "Oh, I need more money." We done drink that up.
Yeah.
A label would be like, "No, you're going to pay me back now, motherfucker. We're done." So,
well, you'd have to deal with legal teams galore if you did that.
Oh yeah, now yeah. Back then, though, I think it was like those labels knew they had something, and they were just like willing to do whatever they could to appease the talent.
Yeah,
Of course, in their case, when it's as successful as those albums were, I mean, you really didn't lose anything. But I can imagine the way things have changed now, they would never allow anything like that. Probably.
No, I wouldn't.
Of course, I mean, a lot of the bands we talk to now aren't really. I think, like I said, the times have changed. Because me when I was in the entertainment world, people would leave with, God knows who, with women wise, and party and drink it up and everything. And now people are just like, in the wrestling business, to be like, "Hey man, we're going to go play Halo after this or what?" It's like they're not even into that kind of thing anymore. And a lot of bands I've talked to that we've actually talked to on the show are just like, "Oh man, I don't even drink." I'm just like, wow, like a band that don't drink, like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I understand, like, a lot of people don't get drunk, but usually you're just like, "Oh yeah, I have a couple beers and I go go bonk or whatever." But
such a weird concept, a band that doesn't drink.
yeah.
Speaking of deals, I think Amorphis that you mentioned earlier, I don't think they own the rights to their early records at all, so they don't get any money from the early records. However many times they're sold or played, because as young guys, they were offered a deal and they just were happy to get a deal because we had a record, and they just signed off everything, all the rights to the early recordings. So that's wild, dude. Wow.
Yeah. Well, because you had, at that time you had 19, 20-year-old kids that probably didn't read anything. They're just like, "Oh, cool, we got a record label," and, and then didn't realize until they were on tour, that's they got money from when they toured, and they thought they were doing something because they thought it was all together or something. I was like, "No, man, that's just from where you were touring and got money from your merch or whatever." It's like it wasn't from what you sold.
And the band pays for everything.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of that, is there merch? You guys have merch available anywhere, or just?
We got some shirts coming up, t-shirts.
Yep.
But that's about it now. We haven't set up a merch store. We've had some discussions with actually a friend who runs a merch store that we might put up our shirts on sale for out there, but nothing official yet.
Yeah,
those are also made by us. So
yeah, right. It's almost so. I've actually looked into that. I've gotten we did have a merch store, and we do have a merch store, but there was so I bought a tank top from them just to kind of see the quality or whatever, and like I washed it once, and then it kind of like looked like shit. I'm just like, yeah, you know what, we're gonna figure a different route out with these shirts. So everything else looks great. It's just the shirt for some reason. We got some cups and stuff on there with our labels and stuff on it, and it looks great. But yeah, those shirts did not turn out very well. So I actually looked into it, and like I could buy the stuff and do it myself because we're not mass producing anything. So I mean, if I'm doing 20, 30 shirts, that's fine. I could come in here and print them and press them out and everything. And like the cost of that's probably cost me to do 20 shirts. I could buy everything to do 20 shirts through somewhere else. So and then I'll have that forever. So I mean, it's like It's like, okay, do I just have them do 20 shirts, or I just do it myself, and I can do 50, 100, whatever I want to. So it'd be the same price. So might as well just do it myself.
Yeah.
We just had those T-shirts made and sold them at gigs. So you're gonna have to come to a show and buy a T-shirt then.
Dude,
Yeah.
I would love to come to Finland.
Hell yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
we've talked about that before. And you're like, man, I would love to visit that Norway. Those,
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always, I mean, hell, I've always wanted to go to Scandinavia anyway. Just for the scenery. But I mean, if I could go there and just kind of do a jog around, like hitting the cities of just the bands we've interviewed, Tampere and up into Sweden, Stockholm and everything like that. So I mean, I'd love to do that. I would do that in a I'd do that in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think twice. I'd like to go. Jason, you may think I'm crazy, but I'd rather go in the winter so I could check out some music and watch some hockey on international size ice too. So
that's not crazy.
That would be me. That would be me.
And everything happens in the dark. And the other chance is
Yep.
come over summertime when there's the midnight sun, when the sun never goes down.
Mhm.
I would like
wow.
to. I would actually. I've never seen that. That would be awesome too. I've never seen that.
Wow, I didn't know it did that. That's cool.
Oh yeah, yeah, it absolutely does.
I know my wife.
The further north you go, yeah.
Me and my wife had talked about going to Ireland in a couple of years for our anniversary. So we're actually going to start saving up for that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
26, I think, is when we're going to go over there. So I told her. She goes, well. Then she started like looking up pictures and stuff, and she goes, oh, I may want to stay there. I said, hey, we can. she was just like, I said, how is that? I said, because I'm Irish, baby. I said, I did my heritage back to the 1600s, so we could definitely stay if you wanted to. I mean, there's a process to it. Don't get me wrong, but if you definitely wanted to move there, we could definitely do it. It might take a year to get everything situated paperwork wise, but we could definitely do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all five of you guys, you guys all got regular 9-to-5s, full-time jobs, all that stuff,
Yes.
Yeah. So then So then just getting the music done when everybody's got time. Do all five of you live in Tampere? All five of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that definitely makes it easier when not everyone's all spread out because. So that's good. So whose house are you guys at right now?
It's mine.
Nice. Okay. So, and you said there's a couple guys that are sleeping right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the guitar heroes.
The guitar heroes in the dark.
All right. All right. So if four of the five of you are at your house right now, Vilu, was this a work weekend? I mean, is there music being made right now?
No, they're at their houses. They're not here. Actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I thought you said they were asleep. I thought they were sleeping at your house. Okay.
Okay. It would have been more rock and roll if they passed out on the floor, but
Yeah.
no.
The studio weekends.
Yeah, that's the studio. Yeah, that's a bit different. So we're gonna have to do the next one on a studio weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
So Valu, how far away do you live from where you're at right now?
Well, they're at Valu's house.
Oh, they're at Valu's house. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was Valteri's.
Yeah, that's right.
So how far does Valtteri live then from you guys?
Yeah, it's about 10 minutes from here. So.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't.
City center of Tampere.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just kind of like wondering. I was like, man, I really brought his ass up early if he had like a 45-minute drive or something.
It's really empty at this hour.
Yeah.
Because he came here at 5:20 in the morning, so there's nobody else around on the street.
Yeah, no traffic.
Right.
That's a plus.
Yeah.
It's a quick drive.
Oh yeah, you can't say that here. 5:20 in the morning, it's crazy. So everybody's trying to get to their 7:00 jobs here. So
yeah,
guilty. You're guilty. Yeah.
Guilty.
I work at night anyway. I work 12-hour shifts. I work 4 to 4 at night. I work 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. So I hardly ever see traffic either. So especially coming home, it's just like, man, it's like a ghost town. Like I wish it was like this all the time, but
Must be nice. It takes me twice as long to get home as it does to work in the morning, so that must be nice.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yes.
Of course, that's a funny thing, and I think probably over there in Tampere, they probably have mass transit better than we do too. So they probably have buses, and they probably have better buses. And you guys have a train line? You guys have trains over there too, don't you?
Trains and trams and buses and
all that good shit. Yeah. So you guys. See, I wish our infrastructure was a little bit better than that here, because everyone could just mass transit. But everyone's got their own car. Everyone's got to drive themselves. It's ugh.
Yeah.
Well, most of the time, because everything's so far away.
That's true too.
Like he said there, you're looking at, what did you say?
10-minute drive. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the population there. What, 250,000 or something?
Yeah.
So, you're looking at 100,000 people just between two cities here. So I mean,
that's true.
So it's wild. And it's in a condensed area too in Spring Hill, which is about 20 minutes up the road. Well, not driving, but it's if you're flying, it's 20 minutes up the road. Well, less than that probably. But I'm just saying, like, if you didn't have any traffic, it's 20 minutes. That never happens. That never happens in that area. So
I can get to work in like 22 minutes.
Yeah. So it's definitely congested. I think there's more people. Like where we live is bigger as far as square miles, but there's less people here than it is in the Spring Hill, which is 9 square miles less and 10,000 more people. So that tells you. So it's really, they're really crammed in there.
They're cramming them in. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what kind of population explosion you guys got going on over there, but it seems like if there's an empty piece of grass, they're like, let's build on it.
Yeah. Well, I just seen an article where Canada has like land that has never been like developed on since North America took it over from the French, which is wild.
That must be nice.
Yeah.
Snow. So who's going to live there?
Oh yeah.
Well, if you look at the map of Canada, all the cities are right there at the border, and the rest of it's
right. Just
that is true.
Yeah, just kind of like nothing.
That is true.
Probably ice.
Yeah, you go further and further north, it gets more and more desolate, which is fine. Leave it alone. So that's the thing was when we were talking with Arched Fire. I think was it the guitar player Jason? He was just walking around outside in the forest.
Oh, no, it was the vocalist. It was Christian.
Yeah. That's right. It was the vocalist. Yeah, we had all of the members from Arched Fire on the show. Drummer was in the sauna. He was in the sauna the whole time. Vocalist was outside, and then the other two guys they were at their house just hanging out like you guys are. And it was funny because I can't remember, probably a good couple hours like we are now. He just walked around the whole time just holding his phone up like this, just walking along. You see the background behind him changing and everything, and he just walked around outside in the forest the whole time.
We was making a joke with this. Man, this done went on so long. I'm surprised you haven't ran into a black metal video or something yet. He's just walking in the woods.
Accidentally stumble into Norway and run into Abbott.
Can happen because there's the border up in the north where Finland meets Norway and Sweden. There's always no border guards or actual visible border. It's just one big Lapland, so you can actually walk around.
Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anzalu was telling us about the Lapland area. I just didn't realize it was so unregulated, I guess is. I guess that's one way of putting it, but yeah. So, I heard it's a really beautiful area.
It is indeed. Yeah, you gotta visit that one when you come over for a few gigs.
I would have to take us out and show us all the cool places to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're pushing about 2 hours here, and I guess we can get ready to wrap it up. But just want to let everybody know you can get music from Barrel over on Spotify. Both their EPs are there, and then also at Bandcamp. I'm sure they may appreciate the Bandcamp a little more since they probably get a little bit more out of that than they would with
Yes.
Spotify. So
Yes.
you have to do the whole old turn Spotify upside down and shake the change out of their pocket. So.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
It was like 2 cents that came a couple of
I
months
think
ago.
what did Vinny say it was 0.004 cents a play or
I think
something?
it's 0.003, I think is what it is.
003 or something like that.
It's so ridiculously low.
Yeah, it's definitely unfair in our opinions, but it's kind of like he said, what do you do? I mean, you got to make sure your music gets heard somewhere. I mean, that's the best place to go is to get the most traffic.
Yeah.
Just I really hope they do something because I know the movie business because I do a little acting on the side too. That they just went through their SAG after just went through their contracts and stuff, and they actually were complaining about that because you could watch Netflix and all that stuff, those reruns, and none of the actors were getting paid from any of that. So it's like, well, okay, that was their big money is back in the day is when you got reruns. I mean, you got to think Andy Griffith was on this TV for 60 years. I mean, it's like, they were getting all that money for all that time. And now that these other, like Friends and, some other shows like that, well, they weren't getting any residuals from being played on any of the apps. So now they've gotten a contract where they're actually getting some residuals from actually being played on the apps, which it's only fair. I mean, these apps and stuff, just like Spotify, they have their commercials on there, so they have people that paying them, to commercialize and stuff. So I mean, I don't see why they can't pay an artist a little more money than what they're doing. So I mean, I think it should be equal to an airplay. That's just my opinion, but I mean, it's still being played like just like a radio. So I mean,
Then again, it's an easy way to get your music out there, so it's a double-edged sword.
it is. That's what I'm saying. Like you kind of gotta deal with whatever they give you because you got to be able to get it out there. Like I said, that's one of the most popular ways of getting it out there. So,
Yeah.
and like I said, there's more than one. There's more than Spotify. Don't get me wrong, but I really wish they would do something to that extent to where they would make sure that the artists get paid a little bit better than what they do. So.
Yeah.
Because it always amazes me that Metallica did all the Napster stuff, and I'm just like, okay, well that worked out really great because look at how everybody's getting screwed now with Spotify. It's like, it's like you did nothing, Lars. You did nothing.
I don't know if you have heard about it, but there's the kind of new streaming service coming, which is
Oh, really?
focused on heavy metal music. I think one of the founders is Camel's drummer, Alex Landenberg.
Oh, wow. Cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I did hear.
They have promised that their service would pay better for the artist, for example, than Spotify. But let's see how it goes.
Oh, I'm totally in if there's some sort of alternative, especially if it's gonna be heavy metal centric. I'd be all
Yeah.
in. I absolutely would.
I believe it was called Rock. So ROKK.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
I do believe you're right, Valtteri. I think you are. Yep. Now that you mentioned it, I seem to remember seeing the story about that maybe two or 3 weeks ago. Maybe somewhere around our Thanksgiving time over here. I think I seem to remember that now. Now that you mention it, yeah. If he can get that off the ground, I mean, even if, and we've talked about this topic at work before too, because one of my coworkers is actually a vocalist in a very small local metalcore band, and their stuff is on Spotify too. So, we've talked about it before. I mean, even if they were paying, because I mean, when you're talking about 0.003 of a cent, I mean that's not real world money.
Mm-hmm.
No one's walking around with 3/1000 of a penny in their pocket. So I mean, even if you're getting an app where it's like 5 cents, it's still something you could literally walk around within your pocket. I could have a nickel in my pocket. I can't have 0.003 of a cent in my pocket, and
Right.
even if it's something like 5 cents, it sounds like nothing, but 20 plays is $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
40 plays is $2. So I mean, you get hundreds of plays, and I mean, granted, it's not gonna be enough money to retire on, but I mean, at least it's it's an amount of money that you could see becoming a tangible amount, something that could actually be put towards something. Like you guys, I mean, if you guys were getting a nickel per play, I mean, at some point, I mean, you could actually, things get to a point where you could almost reinvest into the band. I mean,
Yes.
what a crazy concept, artists being able to reinvest in their own, in their own music.
But at the same time, it feels good to get paid anything for your art.
Yeah,
sure.
Right.
Always feels good that somebody actually took the time to listen to it, and somebody
Yeah.
actually took their own money and gave it to you to listen
Right.
to.
which is
Awesome.
which is why Jason's suggestion of everybody going out and and buying your guys' EPs, but go to Bandcamp. Just do it. Go to Bandcamp. Go to Bandcamp. I mean, help everybody out, but I mean, help Barrel out, help them out, help every artist out. I mean, Bandcamp is over there. Even like a full length, a digital full length is no more than like $9.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean-
let me put this out there too, because Amazon Music also does that, so you can download it for a certain price. So I mean, you're still paying for the download, which is better than them getting 0.002 cents off a single. So
Yeah. So I mean, it's
just want to give a quick shout out to Mia Susanna. Hope I said that right. You just gave us a like over on Facebook. Appreciate that. So,
oh, very nice. Yeah, she's one of your guys' fans, I do believe. I think.
oh, is she okay?
Yeah, I think earlier.
My wife, though.
Yeah. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Oh God, okay.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well, that makes a hell of a lot more sense. Okay.
We appreciate that nonetheless. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Me too.
because we earlier in the day today when you guys started, we saw that you guys were starting to share the promotional video and everything, which, like I say, we do appreciate. On Facebook, we saw that we were getting some likes from people over there. I was like, this is awesome, So
Yeah.
I think it was like five or seven people that I saw just in about a 90-minute span earlier today, were given likes and shares and everything else. So that's very cool.
Cool.
Definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
Speaking of socials, before we go, do you guys want to plug your guys' socials?
That's you.
Yep.
He said that's your job.
What are we on? Facebook?
Facebook, Instagram. But yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Do y'all have I think I did see you guys have a lyric video on YouTube, correct?
Yeah, that's right. We have actually three of them.
Okay. I know when I let you guys up, it says something about it did say lyric video.
Yeah, we're gonna
for one of the songs. So.
we're gonna get those shared to the Facebook group. So
Awesome.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And then also just for you go, I'll let you know. I'll let you guys know. But I'll usually when we do this, I'll download and then upload it up to Spotify too in a couple of days as well. So I know we dog on them, but every little hint that I can put out there to get you guys out there, that's what I'll do. So
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Well, yeah. You guys already have the link to the YouTube channel, so I know you guys put that out there on your Facebook page. So yeah, we'll make sure that we get you guys the Spotify link once the interview is downloaded. So
Excellent. And thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thank
and-
you.
and-
yeah, we appreciate-
absolutely,
appreciate it.
anytime. Yep. Thanks for getting up early and
getting up early with us. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for getting up early, and we definitely look forward to doing this again in the future. So you guys we'll definitely be keeping track of the progress on any new music coming out, relatively soon, and we're definitely gonna plug the new EP as well as the first EP. So we will definitely be keeping track of the happenings in the with the Barrel crew, and we look forward to speaking with you guys again soon. So
anything new you guys come up with, just you're always welcome to come over here and push that stuff, man. Anytime.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Excellent. I'll see you guys when you come over to Finland.
We'll let you know when we're on our way.
Man, y'all have a good day.
Yeah, have a great Saturday, guys.
You too. Cheers.
All right, take care.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, it was our pleasure.
All right.
Barrel, everybody.
Valtteri and Velout.
Valtteri and Velout. Yep. Go check out both of their EPs, Bullet with Your Name and Unanticipated Confessions of Love, on your streaming platform of choice.
Yeah. Like I said, I brought up Amazon Music, but they are kind of iffy about what's there and what isn't. So not everything's there, because there is contracts and stuff to be filled out with stuff there. So I'm pretty sure there's probably not a good chance of anything independent being there, but that necessarily is not the case. But just saying, there's most of the time it's usually having to do stuff with record labels. So actually, I looked into that because I can actually transfer my job to that if I wanted to. So, which is kind of crazy. I just found that out about a month ago. I was like, that'd be interesting to get into, just filling out contracts with the labels and artists.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was thank you guys again for stopping in with us, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the interview there with Barrel. Let's see here. I need to get that one. This one now. I'll show this one because as always, we got to plug our stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Hell yeah.
As you see, scrolling across the screen there, you can check out our merch store. It's open at the www.metalheadsuniteusa.com. Yep. And also you can check out our 24-hour, that's right, 24-hour, 7 days a week radio stream at stream.trulyradio247.com /8006/stream.
Yep.
So definitely gonna be working on dropping some new tracks onto that this weekend as well. So
yep. And if you want to drop us a line and send us a request for the radio station, metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com is our email address, or you can reach out on any of our social media platforms, our Facebook page, our Facebook group, if you're a member. If you want to become a member, come on by and send us a member request. We'll get you hooked up. Other than that, you can send us a message on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Rumble, on Twitch, So
there are stuff. And we're working on, and I'm working on a WhatsApp as well. So
oh shit, okay, there you are.
Yeah, I'm working on that, so we'll see. I just seen where we had some followers from there from when I did the Spotify end of the year review there, and I was just like, oh, we have people share stuff on WhatsApp. Okay, well, we'll get over on there too then.
Yeah, hell, if people are gonna, if that's where people want to, follow us, then it only makes sense to have a presence there for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep.
All right, and then also while we're here, I want to thank Ashes Rain for. There's my hat that they just sent us. Yeah,
swag.
So appreciate the caps. If you missed the episode with Vinny Carrion from Ashes Rain, it is up on Spotify. It's over on YouTube. I think you can probably still go back and watch it on Facebook as well if you wanted to. So
I think so, yeah.
So in any of those places, if you want to go check that out. So we prefer the YouTube, but whatever y'all want to do. I know if people drive that way. If you're driving, you can also listen to it on Spotify. So
that's true. Yeah, you don't absolutely have to look at us while we're doing it. So
yeah. Oh, man. So, but anyway, if you want to catch that one, definitely do so. Vinny is a very knowledgeable musician, I believe.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and it's like every time we talk to that guy, I learn something. So it's always good to sit down and talk to. And John O'Connor's the same way, man. It's like you talk to those guys and you're like, oh wow, I didn't know that. So they always teach you something as you go. So it's always good to talk to either one of those guys. So
absolutely.
Which not saying we haven't learned anything from any any people we talk to, but we always learn something, which is great because that's
Yep.
kind of the way it should work. We should always learn something and feed off each other, and hopefully we taught some of them, some people some stuff too. So
Let's hope. Let's hope. Yeah, let's hope. And I mean, I hope. My hope is that we always, and it's the reason why we do this. I always hope that we get every band that we interview more exposure, whether it's 5 fans, 10 fans, whatever.
yeah,
I mean,
something. You want to get something out of it. So.
yeah, every little bit helps. And I mean, even if like five new band or 5 new fans get turned on to the band, whether start listening to Barrel, and then word of mouth, word of mouth spreads, and then it helps them out.
Then also, before we go, I want to thank Kobe from Hello Scars. He was in the chat today. Dana, and then Aunt Amy, as always.
Aunt Amy and Dana are always here.
She's always there. So then we want to thank Kobe and Mia Susanna for the likes there. So even though you may have felt obligated to, you didn't have to. So
yeah.
Well, we do appreciate that. So.
Yep. Yes, we do.
All right, guys, that will wrap it up for this week. And next week we should be back to our regularly scheduled programming so far. So
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see.
Look us up on Facebook and follow us over there if you want to get in on any of the album reviews or something from the last week or two. I know you did an album review, but I didn't know if you posted it or not. I know you did it on the Metalhead Minute, but
I need to.
But I've done one. I done one last week and this week and haven't posted it either. So
I know I'm behind on. I am behind on write-ups. Yeah,
but I'm definitely going to get that done this week since I'm kind of stuck at home for the weekend anyway. So I'll get some. Actually get some work done maybe. So
yeah, I do.
Anyway,
need to do that.
Anyway, we appreciate you guys for stopping in. Check us back next week. Same time, same channel.
Same time, same channel. That's right.
Yep. Till then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, you guys. Thank you very much.